Howdy, this is Cryptic Grinding back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I cover my round 1 thoughts for the new Iron Man Infinity War and Aegon arenas. So the first thing I always like to do with any new arenas is kind of compare these or categorize these, group them, whatever you want to call it, with past arenas. Is that allow me to look at those past arenas and do some trend analysis. So with feature arenas, really there's two types, old or new. Now within those two buckets there's some variants, and we'll get into that shortly, but obviously with Iron Man Infinity War, he's been in the game now for about a year now. He was actually added with Avengers Infinity War when it came out, so no big surprise we see him brought back as a feature champ with Endgame currently out in theaters. Then when it comes to the 4-star basic arena with Aegon, really there's 3 types, high, medium, and low, and Aegon's going to be on the higher side. Given even as a 4-star, he can still help clear a lot of content in the game. Even in-game content, except Act 6, thanks to Kabam and their ability to restrict different types of characters. As we know, 4-stars are not allowed into Act 6. Not a smart move, Kabam. Stop trying to be our parents and let us go out and bring these 4-stars in. It's not them trying to protect us, to be clear. It's for them trying to make more cash. But anyway, that's not the topic of this video, so we're back to the arena cutoff portion of our program today. But anyway, now that I've got these categorized, let's take a look at some past arena results for similar types of arenas anyway. Starting first with the 4-star basic high interest results. Now, at the end of calendar year 2018 coming into 2019, there was a lot of high interest kind of results. We had Captain America Infinity War, Domino even going over 4 million. Before that, Blade, and I think Blade still holds the all-time high. But after we got into 2019, Ghost was the last champ that we've seen actually to get over 3 million with their first round cutoff. And we've had some decent champs come through as 4-star basic champs, and most recently one of the higher scores we've seen was Omega Red coming at 2.8 million. And you know, once you dupe Omega Red, he's a really great champ, so to see him come in at 2.8 million may be just a general trend with the 4-star basic score is just going to be lower even for good champs like Omega Red, and that was his first time in the basic arena. So not saying that's what we're going to see with Aegon, because I do think Aegon's a little bit better in terms of where he stands tier-wise compared to Omega Red, but they're close, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who would argue Omega Red's better, but regardless, I do think Aegon, just based off of some of the reads I'm getting from the community, as well as the poll that I've set up, it seems that most folks think he's going to be closer to a Ghost versus Omega Red. So anyway, and that covers the basic arena. When you get to the feature champs, really with 3-star feature champs, you get over that are old for the veterans bracket. Once you get over the last milestone of 640,000, you are close to where the cutoff is. So it's one of those dangerous places. If you don't want the champ and you just want the shard tiers, that's probably one of the hardest areas to navigate. Now with a 4-star feature and 5-star feature for that matter, there is some variance. It's a much closer range when you're dealing with a 4-star feature. You can see here with Hela, she was on the lower end of 4.8, but then you have Captain America Infinity War coming 5.8, and then some other decent champs. You got Sabretooth coming at 5.5, and then you got Star-Lord, even though he's a decent champ, especially once duped, coming in at 5.1. So you can see it's a close range. It's anywhere from low 5 to high 5s, and somewhere in the middle is usually where things kind of tend to end up. Now with the 5-star feature, the same thing, there's some variance, but the range is much bigger, and obviously because we're dealing with many more points. So with Hela, we had her closer to 20 million, but then even with Captain America Infinity War, he came in at 35.6. So with the Iron Man Infinity War, that's probably what we're thinking at now. To be clear, the other place for new champs that there's some interest in, like Star-Lord and Sabretooth, that's really around 30 million. So it's really for those high interest champs that even though they're old in the feature arena, you're going to get somewhere between 33 million kind of thing. So considering these past trends, plus the input from the folks that took the time to vote on my poll, and thank you very much for the folks who did take that time. Here are my thoughts for the round 1 cutoffs for the veterans bracket. And again, veterans bracket is for accounts that are open for over 61 days. So with Iron Man Infinity War 5-star, I think we're looking at 33 million. So again, not that 30 million range we saw with Sabretooth and Star-Lord, but closer to Captain America Infinity War. And then with 5-star or 4-star feature, I think we're looking at 5.6 million. Again, same story there. With Aegon, I do think it's going to be more closer to a ghost score than we saw with Omega Red. I mean, there's not a tremendous difference. We're talking 2.8 to 3.3 million, a couple 100,000 higher, but I do think it's going to trend higher just based off of the read that I'm getting from the community. And then with the 3-star feature arena, I think we're looking at 650,000. Again, these predictions are for the veterans bracket. And like I always like to say, the disclaimer, this is just kind of like, this is not an exact science game. I try to get within 5 to 10%, so keep that in mind. If you really want the champs, you probably want to make sure to give yourself plenty of buffer. So I always like to provide a grind target too, just to give yourself a little room. But to be clear, you can push as far as you want if you really don't want to miss on one of these champs. But with the 4-star or 5-star feature Iron Man Infinity War, I think you want to go to at least 36 million, 6 million for the 4-star feature Iron Man, 3.6 million for Aegon, and then 700,000 for the 3-star feature Iron Man Infinity War. And these grind targets, just like the predictions, are for the veterans bracket. When it comes to the newer bracket, it sounds like the bracket pool for these newer brackets are up again. So these numbers have definitely gone up since I last had my free-to-play account, my newer free-to-play account a couple months ago. Those numbers had kind of dipped to a pretty good low number. It was easy to get champs. Now it seems like a lot of folks have come back to the game, either alternate accounts, newer accounts, or just newer players to the game with the excitement around in-game and some of that free marketing that Kabam got from Marvel. Thank you, Marvel, for that one. They just got a lot of Kabam appreciates it, and obviously they meet with Marvel Entertainment and figure all that kind of stuff out to tag along and get that kind of lift when the MCU has big movies like that. But anyway, because of all of this, these numbers have gone up, so I've gone ahead and raised up my kind of rough ballpark. And to be clear, there's not a good place across the community that people report their scores. Some folks do take the time and report in the comment section of my videos, and I do appreciate it, because that's really the only place to find folks reporting it, because all of the scoring, whether it's for these lower brackets or for the upper brackets, is all self-reported by the community. Kabam doesn't release these numbers. There's a couple hot spots across the community, whether it's in Reddit or MCOC Truckhosts' Facebook page. There's folks that go there and report their scores, but for the most part, that's for veterans. So all of these numbers you see here is based, again, off of my recent experience, but again, it's not as valid anymore since there's so many new players, and just recent input from folks that are in these brackets and share their scores. So I do appreciate folks who do take the time and let me know what kind of scores they're getting, because that allows me to keep these numbers fresh. And that's really the dangerous point with the intermediate and beginner brackets. There's just so much volatility as people move from these brackets quickly. As it's for the beginners bracket, you're there from day 1 to day 30. Intermediate bracket from day 31 to day 60. Then at that point, you're in from the veterans bracket moving forward. And to be clear, some people get confused. Well, I installed the game but haven't played it for a couple months. Doesn't matter. It's from the point you installed and created that account, that Kabam account, to be clear, as part of the game, which they incentivize folks to do that by giving crystals when you create your account or whatever. But once that account's created, or not necessarily even the Kabam account, you've installed it on your device for the first time or whatever like that, then you're going to have, that's really the point at which that counter starts in determining which bracket you're in from your arena grinding. So when you start, make sure you stick with it, because at least if you're interested in taking advantage of some of those earlier brackets, because it's going to be from that point that you install the game. But anyway, these are my thoughts for the first round of the Iron Man Infinity War, as well as Aegon Arenas. I would love to hear your thoughts, any questions, anything like that, down in the comments section, and happy to discuss them with you there. Other than that, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you click that thumbs up button. And if you like this and other videos I have on the channel and you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you did. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and have a great day.